Hello and welcome to Module 4 for EDCI 5700 for the spring 2026 semester. This is the introduction and instructions for Module 4. So I'm going to go ahead, share my screen. And it comes up with the home page. So we're going to go down and go into Module 4. Click on this. And the photo I'm sharing, I took this back about 13 years ago on March 2013, the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. And this module is scheduled for the time period around when Lincoln's birthday, February 12th is. I'm from Illinois, land of Lincoln. When I was growing up, every February 12th, if it fell on a weekday, we got the day off. We got the day off for Lincoln's birthday instead of President's Day. Also, another thing I'll share with you, a connection between my family and Abraham Lincoln. Back before he became president, when he was a lawyer in Illinois, and he would go from county to county and be a criminal defense attorney. The farmer that owned our ground at that time, and we're talking the 1850s, so before my family had even settled in that part of Illinois. And actually, my great grandfather was a relative who originally purchased the land for my family, and he was an immigrant from Germany. But anyway, the farmer at that time who owned the ground allegedly killed the neighbor farmer. They got into it. He killed him. And Abraham Lincoln um, had a connection to the case. We don't have any documentation that he came out to the farm. We just have in his writings, he talked about that case. We think he may have come out to the farm to investigate, but nothing to confirm that 100%. And that's a good story. So let's go ahead. We'll get into the activities. You're watching the video for Module 4, and this will be updated by the time you get in. Read Chapter 4 of the Creswell and Guterman textbook. And I'll open this up. And once the literature review has been completed, the researchers should have a good sense for what the literature says about the topic and what pieces may be missing. This will empower one to be able to consider which research questions need to be asked and which hypotheses should be tested. In this module, you'll read about how to develop research questions and hypotheses. As you read, consider how you could develop a problem statement into a research question or hypothesis by considering the following. First one is, what evidence and understandings are missing? What needs to be tested? What assumptions are being made that are unfounded? And how should the problem be explored more deeply and completely? And I also tell you that hypothesis testing is related. That is a component of quantitative research. There's very little hypotheses that are stated in qualitative. And another thing to take into consideration, some major professors, some researchers will call it a research question. Others, and this is more of those who are in quantitative, will refer to it as research objectives. For my dissertation and my dissertation research, I developed research objectives. So now we'll go back to page, and I've also got where you can access the, there you go. You can access the PowerPoint, supplemental PowerPoint for Chapter 4, and we'll let that upload. Come on. Should be shortly. Let's do this. Back in here. Let's click here. There it is. And the learning objectives for chapter 4 from Creswell and Guterman. The first one is distinguish among purpose statements, research questions, hypotheses, and objectives, and describe their importance. The second one, write quantitative purpose statements, research questions, and hypotheses. And then the third thing, write qualitative purpose statements and research questions. So, but for this course, you will not be writing out those purpose statements. You won't be writing out the research questions or research objectives. In this chapter, Creswell and Guterman, they go through best practices. If you get to that point in your graduate studies journey and you will be writing a thesis or dissertation, this will provide a guide for you. All right, so then I put up a YouTube video on writing strong research questions, then one on how to write research objectives, and then the third one is on writing a hypothesis. And I coming back to hypothesis, hypothesis was popular in quantitative research, kind of quantitative studies when I did my dissertation over 20 years ago. You don't find hypothesis testing as prevalent in quantitative research as we once saw it. Then you will post your module reflection. And I posted mine. And just as a friendly reminder, in order to receive full credit, you post yours and then 2 responses to another student, or to you can also post a response to mine. And then complete the quiz. Click on here to take the quiz. And the suggested completion date, let me get back in here. The suggested completion date is February 22nd. And also by this time, the quantitative paper has been submitted. You submitted it to your partner, received back the peer review. You also completed the peer review on your partner's paper, and the final draft was put together. And by February 15th, that is the due date for the quantitative research summary. So then the next thing will be the qualitative, and March 1st is when your draft is due to your partner. And I will be putting out, I will be putting together new partner groups for the qualitative paper, and those will be sent to you as soon as possible. And then March 1st is when your draft is due to your partner. And as always, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to let me know. Thank you, and I'll talk to you later.